at the dock.
Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Will the Dragon Whisperer, and this is another video for the channel. Now, you guys, it's going to be a little bit of a long intro, but please stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss what is in this video. Now, I feel like there's a lot of background that needs to be said so that people don't misconstrue why I'm making this video and the content of this video. I feel like I need to let people know a little bit about my personal life and some personal things about me, and then maybe you can understand better where I'm coming from. When I was a young child, my dream from as early as I can remember was to be a fighter pilot. Top Gun was my favorite movie. Came out when I was 12 or 13 years old. I knew every word. I had planes hanging from my ceiling. My walls were wallpapered with aircraft carrier and fighter jets. I could tell you the engine, the thrust to weight ratio of every fighter jet back then, and that's all I wanted to do. I had every flight simulator game they ever made on the computer. I took a few beginner flying lessons, and that was my dream of my life. I made good grades. I was an honor student. I took AP Calculus and AP Chemistry and AP Biology in the 11th grade. I had college credits before I ever left high school. I was on a plan to make my dream come true, to be a fighter pilot in the United States Navy. Well, when I was 18 years old, I went to go talk to my recruiter to go sign up. They did an eye exam. I never knew at that point that I did not have 20/20 vision. And I was told right then in that recruiter's office that I would never be a naval aviator. I would never be a military aviator because at that time you could not have corrective lenses. You could not have corrective surgery. So I was told at 18 years old that my dream I'd worked for my whole entire life would never happen. And as a kid, we're always told you can be anything you want. Just work hard enough and believe in it and you can be anything you want. But at 18 years old, I was told that after years and years of dedicating my life to this goal that it would never happen. Now, as an 18-year-old person, that was extremely hard to take. That was like my whole construct of my life that I built it around was shattered. So it was very hard for me. I stumbled around. I went to college, but I dropped out. I went from job to job. I felt lost. I could never find anything that I felt fit me. And I went into the United States military. I served our country in the United States Army. I went to Alaska and I spent a number of years in Kodiak, Alaska, commercial fishing. I've done extreme things to test myself and to try to find my niche in the world and where I was supposed to be, because I always thought it was to be a fighter pilot. And so then my father got diagnosed with cancer 2.5, 3 years ago. And my father is the rock of our family. He is the best man I've ever known in my life. He is literally my hero, my mentor. Every day I wish I could be more like my father. And this was a crushing blow to me. He's always been a healthy man. He's always lived for God. And I was just like mad at the world. I was mad at God. I didn't understand why he had let this happen to my father. And it rocked my world to the foundation. I really thought that my father could pass away from this illness. And it was overwhelming to me. And a very close person that means a lot to me in my life said, why don't you get a pet? I didn't have a pet at the time, and I decided to get a bearded dragon. And that bearded dragon, which that's Apollo right here, he changed my life. Like, I realized how much I loved animals as a child. I was always into snakes and reptiles as a child, always had a lot of pets as a child, and somehow in my adult life I've fallen away from that. And these reptiles have changed my life. Keeping these reptiles, going to reptile shows. I've done 7 Repticons and Show Me Snake shows now as a vendor. Going to these shows, interacting with families and children, sharing my passion and love for these animals and how to care for these animals has changed my life. It has saved my life. And earlier in my years, when I was going through those issues and kind of floating around, I got involved with the wrong people and got into bad drugs. And you know, if you've ever been a victim of addiction, you'll know that there are certain things that can change your life in such a way that it will ruin your life or could cause catastrophic events to befall you. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that these reptiles and becoming a part of this community has saved my life. Like, it has literally gave me a purpose, a sense of direction, and it has made me such a better person in my life, not just in the reptile community, but in my overall life. I've become so much more responsible. I've become so much more empathetic. And I want to apologize to the reptile community because I fell in with a group of people and they convinced me that live feedings was not something to be ashamed of, it was not a bad thing, and that it would greatly increase the growth of my channel. I do not blame those people whatsoever. I went through my own thought process and I decided, yes, this could help my channel, ultimately help me be able to take care of more reptiles, because it will help me bring in money and help me bring subscribers to my channel, and ultimately will help me take care of more reptiles. It was not for the viewers, it was not for the money. Okay, but now I have realized there are a large group of YouTubers out there that all they want to do is glorify violence for their own betterment. And really the niche that I'm more concerned about is people like Derrick'S Reptiles. And I am going to call out people by name. And people have told me, you shouldn't make a video like this. It's going to hurt your channel. I've even gotten threats from some of the people that are in his little clique that I should not post this video and I should take my video down from last night. Well, I'm going to show you guys footage from my live stream where Derrick is the one who came into my live stream and engaged in this conversation, and he would not legitimately argue the fact of whether supporting these live feeding videos helps or hurts our hobby. He kept trying to deflect. He threw Nerd under the bus numerous times, but if you guys look on Derrick's channel, he's done numerous videos with people from Nerd, and he's never said anything negative about them to their face. But in my live stream, he had quite a lot of negative things to try to say about Nerd to deflect from himself. And he never would answer the question of whether you think supporting these live feeding videos helps or hurt our hobby. Never would give me a yes or no answer. And I'll even show you guys later. You know, I've actually deleted that footage, but he made some personal attacks from me. He even made some comments about I only have 7 people watching my live stream. So that in and of itself belittles the people that were watching, like they're not important, or like my live stream isn't important because it's not as big or has as many viewers as him. And what bothers me the most about people like Derrick'S Reptiles is they claim that they're doing this for the reptile hobby. They claim they're doing this for the animals, but I was privileged to be in a lot of live streams that these certain people were a part of, and they never ask questions about how do you take care of these animals. They never ask questions about animal care. They never ask questions about the hobby. Their questions were always, how can I get more views on my channel? How can I get more subscribers? How can I get monetized? What videos make the most money? These people are only on YouTube to promote themselves. They are there for their own fame and the money that they think they can make off YouTube. They don't give a flying flip about the animals, because if you go and look at comments they made on brutal live feeding videos, you'll see they don't love animals, or how could they appreciate content like that? And let me tell you what, guys, the politicians are coming for our animals right now. They are coming for our animals. The American Competes Act is in Senate right now. They are coming for our animals. And you don't think congressmen or people that are putting together presentations for their other legislators in these committee meetings aren't going to be showing them videos of live feedings off of YouTube and saying this is why we should not allow people to keep these animals without some kind of permit or better rule system in place? And then when you see somebody like Derrick that's had 30 or 40 of the biggest names in the reptile hobby do live interviews on his channel, then it's very easily for a politician to look at the other content on Derrick's channel and the comments he made and said, look, this guy is supported by all these big-time reptile people, have been on his channel, and this guy supports this kind of stuff. Like, it's all a big snowball effect that is negative for our industry. Now, if people want to come at me for making this video, I don't care. You can't hurt me and my channel. Only me and my content can hurt my channel. You can't hurt my channel. And if you look at some of these people, they don't have any care guides. They don't have any enclosure setups. They don't have any videos of how to care for these animals or to better promote the conservation of these animals. They don't talk about U.S. ARC. They don't talk about the problems our reptile industry has. All they do is things to promote themselves and their channel for their own personal gain. I mean, there's some of these people that all their content is either live feedings or interviews with other people and live feedings. They don't have any content that would be considered necessary or important to somebody getting into the reptile hobby. Almost all their content is detrimental to the hobby other than the interviews, and that's those people that are benefiting the hobby, not him. So, you know, we as a community have a responsibility to make sure that people that are in the reptile hobby for their own personal gain and people that are using reptiles in YouTube for their own personal gain should not be supported by those of us who don't feel that way. Those of us who love our animals, want to keep the freedom to own and care for these animals and promote the conservation of these animals, We should not be supporting content creators like that. If you're supporting a content creator that is doing a care video on one channel and then on another channel he's watching deranged reptile feedings and commenting that that's a great share, then that guy is two-faced. That guy is not for the reptile community. That guy is not for the animal kingdom. He cares nothing except for views and the money that channel can bring in him. He is there for his own personal gain. He doesn't give a flip about the animals other than the stepping stone they provide to get him to where he's at. Now, I'm sorry if the truth hurts people, but that is the truth. These people are using these videos and they reach out to other people that have this content so that they can get them to come back and subscribe to their channel. It is all motivated by their own greed and their own personal growth, and they give a flip about the animals. So we're going to go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to show you guys plenty of documented footage from Donnie's video that he made and from my live stream that just shows why we should not support these people and why they have no place in the better keepers and the better reptile creators in this hobby. So we're going to get straight into the video. Let's get started. Let's hit the road.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
This is one of my many boat jackets I earned in Alaska, as well as I'm going to show you guys my military uniform. And really, I just want to take this time to explain the Fair Use Act because I'm going to be using some other people's material in this video, and it all falls in line with the Fair Use Act, which allows you to use bits and small portions of other people's material for critical and for analysis purposes. So I'm perfectly in my rights to use these small clips and pieces of footage, but if anybody wants to put a copyright strike, I promise you I'll fight it. You will lose, and that will result as a strike on your channel, not mine. Now, I wanted people to see that this is where I lay my head at night. I live in my reptile room. My reptiles live with me. I eat, sleep, and breathe my animals 24 hours a day. They are my life. They are my livelihood. They bring me joy. They have saved me from despair and depression, and I will fight tooth and nail against anybody who is doing anything that could hurt my ability to continue to keep these animals, and I'm not going to back down. Now, here's one of the more disgusting people on YouTube that do nothing but promote gruesome, graphic, brutal live feeding videos of one animal killing another, often animals they would never eat in the wild or should not even be fed to those animals. But this is one of those channels that some of the YouTube creators that I'm talking about support, comment, and seem to like his videos. Now, this guy's probably hands down one of the worst on YouTube for reptile enthusiasts. He has the most disgusting, vile videos, but his video of his tegu trying to eat a guinea pig and his tegu being fed a pet leopard gecko are two of the videos that my Animal House and Derrick'S Reptiles commented on as being great videos. Now, as I stated earlier, I had to block Derrick from the chat because he started getting personal. He actually started calling me names. So you can see here, though, that people were actually pointing out to him that his problem must be with Nerd because he kept constantly throwing them under the bus and had a lot of disparaging remarks about Nerd. And also, I got a message from quite a few people in his group telling me that I should take the video down, that all it was going to do was hurt my channel. Now, this is another little bit of information I find is very interesting because when Derrick showed up into my live stream yesterday to try to defend himself, I guess, from a guilty conscience, he did not want to respond to whether he thought his comments helped or hurt the hobby. He would never give me a direct answer on that. He wanted to throw Nerd under the bus and talk about their live feedings and their administering of medication and medical procedures to animals, but yet he's had 4 Nerd employees on his live stream, and do you think he's ever confronted them or asked them about those issues he has with them? I want you to hear it right out of the horse's mouth how he feels about live feedings, but it's kind of funny that he has titles very much like the ones he's talking about being psychotic, and he also watches and comments on those same psychotic videos.
If you're doing live feedings and you're doing it in an educational way, I support that. Even if you're not doing it in an educational way, if you just want to entertain people, kind of like National Geographic. But if you're filming a live feeding and you're titling it, Mouse gets murdered, constricted and squeezed to death till his eyeballs pop out of his head. If you put that as a title, you're a psycho, and you shouldn't be doing live feedings.
Now, this is my animal house. Now, Justin, I think, is a great guy as far as he does great live streams and he helps people out with their reptile questions. Him and his wife and another guy named Iron Dog, they're really great with helping people out during their live streams and answering questions. They got a lot of knowledge. But he also has started doing a lot of brutal, disgusting live feeding videos on his channel. And channels can have good and bad content. But when we support those channels, we support the bad content as well as the good content. Now, I know people are going to accuse me of calling people out and bad-mouthing people, but it's not bad-mouthing someone when you're just showing evidence of someone's other side that people may not know about. A lot of people think these individuals are good content creators in some instances, but they don't know that these people are out there supporting these disgusting, brutal videos. I mean, both of these guys commented on the tegu attacking and killing the leopard gecko, which is disgusting. Now, I feel like it needs to be said that I don't pick fights. I have never done blast videos or ever tried to call anybody out. But when people come into my live streams and try to disparage me and assault my character, assault my viewers, and assault my work that I've done on my channel, then they have started the fight. And although I don't start fights, I damn sure don't back down from them. And this is something that is important for me as a keeper and for the hobby. Here's another disgusting channel that puts tarantulas and Pac-Man frogs and pet store animals in with his Savannah monitor, or feeds ducklings to his Pac-Man frog. Just another example of a terrible channel. And you guys, please go to these channels, report them, try everything you can do to get them off of YouTube. And I really wanted to let Kevin give his little spiel about how he feels about this type of content.
We need to be empathetic. This is not, we do not keep these animals so we can watch other things be eaten and die. My problem is this, very simple. To the average person that happens to see one of these channels about Mr. Froggy or a frog eating something, and they watch something fighting for its life, and ultimately it loses. It's a corn snake, it's a baby alligator, it's a baby crocodile, it's a chick, it's a mouse, it's a rat, it's another frog. All of these are done for the sake of entertaining people watching one animal in a life struggle being eaten by another animal. But to the average viewer, this represents possibly the entire reptile community. And I think that's bad. And I'm really worried for us, because this isn't why I keep these wonderful animals.
Alright, you guys, once again, this is Dragon Whisperer. I know this video is going to be controversial, but I don't care. People that negatively influence our hobby and could have a negative impact on the legislation and the ability that we have to keep these animals. People that on one side try to make themselves look good, but on the other side of their face are making our hobby look bad, those people need to be ostracized, and those people do not need to be supported by those of us who really love these animals. That is the bottom line, and that is the truth. I'm on the right side of this issue, so anybody that wants to come at me, please do. You know, Reptiles, Dave Kaufman, Lord of the Lion, Camp Keenan, none of those guys that are considered reptile royalty and considered one of the best people for our hobby and for the animal kingdom would ever support this kind of content. And I don't want to be a part of those people. I've deleted all the live videos off of my channel that have anything to do with feeding. And I will encourage people in the future to stay away from these people, stay away from that content. Don't support people who do support that content, even if they don't put it on their channel. And we've got to get this out of this reptile community. This live feeding, this brutality to animals, and the encouragement of it has to go. It has no place in this hobby. I'm going to continue to stand up and fight against it. And anybody who wants to come at me, bring it on, bro. I've got God on my side. I've got the better of the reptile community on my side. I'm in the right here. And if people think it's wrong for calling people out, that's another big thing that's wrong with our country. If you see somebody doing something wrong, stand up, fight against it. Bullying, fight against it. People that are hurting animals, fight against it. People that are promoting things for themselves, but they're stepping and hurting other things in the process to make themselves better, speak up against it. Like, that's God give us a voice for a reason, and we got to use it. I got a platform, and I'm going to use it to combat against this kind of atrocity and disgusting filth that does not belong in our hobby. And it only makes us look better, and it only gives fodder to the people who want to take these animals away from us. If you love our animals, don't support this kind of content, and if you have it on your channel, take it down, please. And if I see one of you guys at a reptile show that I'm vending at, you best believe I'm going to call you out. I'm going to let every vendor and everybody in that building know this is the guy that puts live mice in with his snapping turtles and thinks it's cool. This is the guy that puts a leopard gecko in with a tegu and thinks it's cool. I will call you out, and I'll make sure everybody in that show knows who you are, and we'll see what kind of welcome you get. Okay, it is time to draw a line in the sand. It's been drawn. Anybody that wants to come across it can come across it, because if you want to try to convince me that brutal live feeding videos and supporting them in any way helps our hobby, you're an idiot, and I'd love to debate you. I'm the Dragon Whisperer, and I'm out.